Welcome in to the latest episode of that SEC podcast brought to you by MyBookie and Twisted D. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter, and I'm joined as always by my cousin Shane, who goes by Big Orange Balls on Twitter. What's up, you old Tennessee homer?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, doing good, buddy. And man, believe it or not, we have hit the midway point of the SEC season. I mean, it just flies by, doesn't it?
Oh, man, it's kind of sad when you put it that way, Mike, you know?
Yeah.
It just feels like yesterday we couldn't wait for this to start.
Right.
And I thought about it when it hit October because you're like, all right, no more football in September, you know? We always look forward to September because that's when college football kicks off, and now we're in October. Next thing you know, it's going to be November, and then we're going to be talking bowl games, college football playoffs, and then back into the abyss, you know? So, no, I love it because it seems like it's starting to tighten up a little bit. Every game's a little bit more important, it feels like.
Yeah.
But then I hate it because, again, you know, the end is coming.
All right, man, this will be a little bit of a different one, different format, just because, I don't know, I like to mix things up, Shane. I don't like same old, I think it's a little boring. But we're at the midway point, so why not do kind of like mid-season recap? And I know I threw some of this at you, but some of it I didn't, so I apologize. I honestly, I thought about it about 2 hours ago, so I started putting this together. So as for always, it's you know, I hope nobody gets mad at you and says, Shane ain't come prepared. Well, this time it's my fault. I did some of it I threw your way, but some of it I didn't. So,
well, to be fair, most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm unprepared. So the fact that you're giving me this crutch, I'm going to take it, Mike.
But, hey, before we get into all that, one thing I thought we kind of had to hit on.
Yeah.
Old Mark Stoops created some controversy here. It was Monday night. It was late. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I meet with Steven pretty late.
Yeah.
And his comments was even after that. So I didn't have time to hit on it. But for anybody that missed it, well, let's just cut to it. This is weekly coaches show, and fans getting on his ass saying, you know, why can't we win these big games? And I won't include this clip, but there was that stat going around that, hey, you only beaten 2 SEC teams with winning record in 11 years. He said, that ain't true. I don't believe. He pulled a Hugh Freeze. I don't believe that. It is true. I mean, even the Kentucky media kind of called him out on it. But that's not the important part. The important part, Shane, is his NIL comments.
Yeah.
And let's play the comments, and then we'll react on the other side.
Y'all think we're comfortable.
It is what it is. And, you know, fans have that right. I give it to them. I just encourage them to donate more because that's what those teams are doing. I could promise you in Georgia, they bought some pretty good players. You're allowed to these days, and we could use some help. That's what they look like. You know what I mean? When you have 85 of them. So I encourage anybody that's disgruntled to pony up some more. It is what it is.
All right, Shane. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to kind of look at these comments.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of truth to what he's saying. You know, it's no secret. I mean, Georgia, and I'm not calling them out because Texas buys players. Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, A&M. So you can't just say, you know, money is going to make us an elite team.
Right.
Texas would have 10 national championships if money could buy you a good team. So I don't think money solves all the issues, but and I don't think what he's saying here is necessarily wrong because like I'm saying, this is accurate. These players are getting paid now. But the only problem I have with it, Shane, is when you get your ass kicked and you turn around and say, you know, well, fans, maybe it's on you. You know, you need to pay us, get us some money so we can be competitive. That's not the time to do it.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. And this is coming from a guy that's, I believe, now you'll have to fact check me on this one, but I believe he's top 10 salary in the country, ain't he? You know, so it'd be one thing if we're sitting there listening to a guy that, was being coached or that was a coach at the 20th, 30 spot or something like that. We're talking top 10. But there's a lot of teams in the SEC that aren't making that money. So,
Right.
I'm torn. I'm torn on this because again, we all know. I mean, it's not just Georgia. Georgia's the one that got called out here, but Alabama's, LSU's, the whole. You think about the Charger jokes that we used to have back in the day with Alabama, and
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, kids were getting paid. So I think that does help create, a little bit of a little bit of a luxury going to those particular locations, but. Without NIL, do you get Will Levis? Do you get Leary? Do you get Ray Davis? I mean, they've got a lot of guys that have come in and went on to the NFL and will continue to do that because of the fact that these boosters have provided that money. So to say that they've not done enough giving the I guess the output that we've had out of Lexington, I think that's my biggest flag here.
Right.
I
I think when you break this out, Shane, is the week before when you whoop Florida's ass.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, you like these ass whoopings? Well, keep them coming. NIL. And I'll people get mad, but it's so funny because we roped Tennessee into everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take a wild guess, Shane, when Tennessee, their biggest week ever in the NIL era, it came last year. If you had to pinpoint one week that you think, and it's kind of easy if you think hard about it, but there's 1 week where Tennessee scored a significant boost to their NIL. Do you have any idea what?
When Nico's on?
No.
Oh.
When they beat Bama.
Oh.
And the fans stormed the field, they tore down the goal. That was their biggest week ever in NIL. So that's when you break it out.
Yeah.
That's when you break out, hey, you like this?
Yeah.
We need help. You don't do it when you get your ass kicked by Georgia and say, oh, we ain't got no money. I'm making $9 million.
Yeah.
I kind of, and some people I've read into this, and I don't know if he was going 3D chess here, but some people were looking at it like, you going to give to basketball or you going to give to football? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like some people have read into that. I don't know that that's what he was saying, but yeah, I think that's part of it,
and
perhaps.
I don't think it's fair because I don't know how long this show is, I mean, we took 10, 15 seconds out of a potential 3-hour conversation. Clearly, our boy was pretty comfortable, relaxed. Some say he was sitting on a beanbag. I don't know.
It's an hour long, I'll tell you that.
Okay, yeah.
With commercial breaks and everything.
And how many bourbons is he in? Because Coach is having a few. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that because this isn't the first time I've seen a clip come from that show.
Right.
So clearly he gets nice and comfy. But if it does light one fire under a booster's ass, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's pulling their money because of these topics. So I did it too. My first reaction was to react. Mm-hmm. But then when you hear the message, you're just like, well, it's shit we already know. We know Georgia pays more than Kentucky. We know that Alabama is going to end up paying more than Kentucky. But Kentucky has a lot of money. They have a lot of opportunity there, and if they can get the buy-in and anything they could do to help Coach Stoops and company, then it helps your product. And we go down to a game like Georgia. The fact that we went to this game, even though it was a blowout, but we went in there thinking that we're going to have a game, speaks volumes to what they've created up there. So I'm not mad at
this
Coach.
is the same message, Shane, that Nick Saban had when it started that whole feud with Jimbo, because he was talking to the boosters, and he said they bought every damn player on their roster, even though that's not true. But he threw it out there because that was the whole point. We finished 2 in recruiting. They finished 1. Give us money so we can get these players. The same message. And the last thing I'd say, Shane, is I do like when coaches come out and say this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we give Kirby and Saban hell when they come out here and UT Chattanooga's quality opponent.
Yeah.
We got to take them serious. All that bullshit. I like when coaches keep it real, and Mark Stoops was keeping it real here.
Yeah, not going to drag him across the road because of it. In fact, the only thing I would change is just what you said, the timing. This should have been said a week earlier, right after that Gator game, man. Because you're right, and wouldn't be surprised if they didn't land a few more, NIL contracts or something. So
they're recruiting well. All right, Shay. So mid-season talk here. Like I said, this will be a little bit different. Before we jump into this, though, Shane, I just want to give a little update here because I find these numbers so fascinating. But I'm going to run down SEC teams ranked by offensive scoring efficiency. And again, this is a very simple. That's why I like it, because I'm not a math guy.
Here we go. Numbers on a Wednesday. Hump day numbers by Mike.
The number of snaps you've had,
Yeah.
passing and rushing, that's
Okay.
all it is. And points scored.
Okay.
So you divide your snaps by how many points you got. So basically, how many points you're scoring
Per snap.
per snap.
Yeah.
So that's all this is.
Yeah.
This is winning football right here.
All right.
LSU, number one.
Number one. Okay.
So they score the most per snap. Kentucky, surprisingly, number two.
Mm-hmm.
They were number one. After that
Yeah.
beatdown they got. Ole Miss, number three.
Uh-huh.
Georgia, number four.
Kind of surprised on Kentucky. Didn't think about that one. Okay.
Georgia, four. Now, this doesn't take into account strength of schedule.
Right.
So this will all change, but this is the midway point. That's why I'm throwing it out there. A&M, number five.
Yeah.
Tennessee, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, 7. Missouri, 8.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, 9. Arkansas, 10. Vandy, 11. Auburn, 12.
Oh, that surprised me.
Florida, 13. And South Carolina, 14. Ooh, so
Is it? Do you think that's skewed at all because of strength of schedule? I'd be curious.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll do these again at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'll even do it, Shane, only conference games.
Okay.
Because I think that's the best way to determine who was successful and who wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's kind of foolish to do that now because, like, I believe LSU's played 5 conference games.
Right.
Tennessee's played 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not a good way to evaluate it right now. But by
No,
the
I
end of the
agree.
season. So that is
I was
skewed.
thinking like South Carolina because you got North Carolina, you had Tennessee, Georgia,
Right.
And then you look at a team like Kentucky that's had Vanderbilt. Yeah, granted, they did have Georgia this week, but other than that, they've not had a tough defense and coming from the SEC. So
Yeah. But like these coaches say, Shane, you can only play who you face. Or, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was throwing that out there. Now, the defense, same thing.
yeah,
Snaps you faced, points you've allowed. Very simple, right? How many rush attempts you faced, how many pass attempts you faced,
yeah.
and how many points you given up.
Trying to guess who number one is. Alabama,
They're 2. You were close.
Auburn,
Georgia,
Georgia,
Number
Yeah,
1.
Yeah, damn. Yeah. Well, yeah, I get that.
Number 3, though.
Auburn.
They're number 4.
Okay.
3, Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right.
Very underrated defense.
Yeah.
Florida, number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, 6. Ole Miss, 7. A&M, 8. Missouri, 9. Arkansas, 10. South Carolina, 11. Mississippi State, 12. And this is why they're struggling. LSU, 13. Vanderbilt, 14. So that's kind of how the defense is playing out at the midway point.
Wouldn't you rather have, looking at a team like LSU, number one in this numbers thing you're doing here, wouldn't you rather have the offense though? I mean, at least if you're going to lose, it's going to come out to a shootout or
Right.
something like because you flip the coin. I kept referencing Auburn. But,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. You
Yeah.
flip the coin, you're Auburn.
Yeah.
And it's ugly.
Yeah.
And you're
but you're finding ways to win sometimes, but it's still coming down the wire. But you just have no confidence in your offense. I think I would rather have the LSU route,
Yeah, yeah. How about this, though, real quick? I know people get so mad as hell. I threw them in here just Oklahoma and Tennessee or Texas. Oklahoma would be
Yeah.
number 1 in defensive efficiency in the S. Of course, they're not. I get it. They're not playing the SEC. They'd rank number 4 in offense.
Yeah.
So they're flying, brother. Texas 10 in offense, 4 in defense. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, and the fact they've had Oklahoma and Alabama, I
Yeah.
mean, it's pretty favorable stats there.
Right. So here's where I wanted to get into. Now that we threw those numbers out at you, I apologize for all the numbers and everything. But and this is the only 3, Shane, I'm going to ask you because this is more of I wanted this to be more of a mid-season discussion.
Yeah.
But let's predict, and I want both of us to do it, and have you have your answers, I'll have mine. Your pick to win the SEC East
Yes.
today, and I mean that's kind of obvious, but who would you go with?
Just the East? How about all of it, baby? Give me them Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah,
son.
I thought you were going to say Disney.
I would love to. I would love nothing more to say that, or Missouri, or even Kentucky,
Right.
Gets it figured out. But, I mean, Georgia is just the fact that they just took that they took a monumental step forward this week, beating Kentucky. Kentucky's
Right.
a good squad. So,
Because the way I was looking at it, Shane, I know I didn't pick it.
yeah.
I know I teased people on that. It was against the spread. But the way I seriously looked at it, Shane, if Kentucky could have pulled off that upset, they're hosting Tennessee, they're hosting Mizzou, I thought they would have punched their ticket last weekend had they beaten Georgia. But now that they didn't, Georgia hosts Missouri. They got the Tennessee game coming up. But, Tennessee's got to at least give them a competitive ball game. They seemingly have Heupel figured out.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not saying Tennessee
If
can't
Kentucky wins out, I mean, think about that. If they win out, they're going to have, like you said, Tennessee, Mizzou. Those are going to be top 25 quality wins.
beat them.
Bama is the big one, especially if
They could go to the playoff, don't you think?
If Alabama goes to the SEC championship, then how do you leave them out? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think there's a real shot that you're still in the mix. Now, you're going to have to not just win games. You're going to have to destroy some teams. You're going to have to destroy a Tennessee. You're going to have to destroy a Missouri. And Alabama, you can squeak that one through, but the other ones, it's got to be no question who the better team it was on the field.
Now, to your point about Tennessee, real quick, I also dug this up, Shane. People were, I thought this was pretty interesting. Tennessee right now, they lead the SEC in rushing.
Yeah.
Over 230 yards per game. They rank 12th in the SEC in rushing attempts.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wild that you're leading it with that few attempts, but that's explosive running game. So with that defense, number 3 defensive scoring efficiency. So there's the pieces for Tennessee. But here's the tricky part, Shane. Their next 5 games, or next 5 SEC games. A&M,
Yeah.
number 1 in the SEC versus the run. At Bama, number 4 in the SEC against the run.
Yeah.
At Kentucky, number 2 in the SEC against the run. At Mizzou, number 5 in the SEC against the run. And then, Georgia, number 3 in the SEC against the run. So the top 5 currently in the SEC defending the run. Those are the next 5 that Tennessee's going to face.
Do you even see a loss in those 5?
So the point being, we'll find out
Yeah.
who Tennessee is in the next 5. And
Dude, we're going to know this weekend. I'm telling you right
Right.
now. I think the Florida one is, I scratched my head on that one. I think Tennessee could have beat them. But then again, I don't know. Maybe Florida is the team that's just, we haven't pegged yet. But I think this Texas A&M is going to be a real true test for Tennessee Vols. We're going to know kind of where they fall in that landscape, because Florida's just that game. I'm not trying to take away anything from the Florida Gators. They kicked Tennessee's ass that week. But, was that a normal game for them, or was Kentucky the normal game for them?
Right.
So I'm still trying to figure them. I'm trying to figure them out more than I'm trying to figure out Tennessee.
yeah. All right, so same question for the West. Right now, today, who is your pick to win the SEC West?
Alabama.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But that's not, well, I don't want to speak for you. Is that as a slam dunk as Georgia to win the East, in your opinion?
Oh, no. I think the gap between 1 and 2 in the East is a lot further than it is in the West, because, you can still convince me Texas A&M's legit. You can still convince me that LSU's in there, Ole Miss is in there. I mean, it could be any of those guys, but Alabama not only has just found ways to win here lately, but it also feels like they've kind of figured it out, and Jalen's starting to set that's what kept Alabama so close, was that offense.
Yeah.
And it took a big step this last Saturday.
So last one I'm going to ask you to predict today. SEC champion.
Yeah.
Is it Georgia or is it Bama?
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
I
too.
still, and I don't think it's that big of a gap. Like if all the teams were in one bucket, like they will be next year, I think there's some. I don't think it's quite 1A 1B, but it's a 1 2A 2B type situation. But they're right there. It's. I wouldn't imagine that there'd be more than 8-point spread going into this thing.
Yeah. All right. So now let's just focus solely on where things stand today at the midseason point. If you had to give the Heisman Trophy to an SEC player, you're not predicting they're going to win it. You're not predicting what they're going to do in the second half. The award ceremony is tonight, October 10th. Who would you give it to? And for all these, I can go first to give you more time if you want to listen to mine, because I didn't prepare you. These are the ones I was saying I didn't prepare you for.
Well, because before we go down that, because when people think Heisman, they think of it's split. I always think of a Heisman as if you take that person from that team, they would have more losses because of their absence, if you will. Because there are a lot of great players, and we're going to go through a few of them here, but if I'm removing one person from a team and I'm saying this is your Heisman candidate, it's not a quarterback.
Ooh.
It's close. It's close. I really like Jaden, but we've lost some games. It's Brock Bowers.
Oh, I like that.
If you take Brock away from Georgia, I'm not saying they lose any, but
right.
They do. They would have a loss to Auburn right now. They may have a loss to South Carolina. Just him being on the field, even if he's banged up, they've got 2-3 people just trying to keep an eye on him contained. So, yeah, I think right now, if the season ends, and nobody wants to crown a tight end, which is stupid, but that's how important that player is to that program.
Yeah, he's the best player in football, I think. Bowers.
Yeah. Now, can I do another one?
Sure.
Because I'm not going to do them all, but Luther Burden is my other one. Because, again, remove Luther from Mizzou, they lose to Kansas State.
Yeah.
They lose to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Definitely Memphis. So I think that's another one that people are going to overlook because where they're at and maybe even a record. But those are two of my favorites. And Jaden, there's the three. I got a three-headed monster there.
Yeah, well, you were bound to get to one of mine if you're going to name a half of them.
And then while we're at it, let me turn.
But I'm giving it to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Just because, he's been a damn warrior.
Yeah.
And he's cleaning up. And, to your point about, and maybe this isn't fair, but, he got hurt in the Mizzou game, and they threw in Garrett Nussmeier. And I still think he's got a world of potential. Yeah. But it was like, they don't got a shot if this is their guy in that game. And again, he was inserted, so that's probably not fair to him because we've seen him have his moments. But it was a drastic drop off. He's just producing at such an incredible level. I'd give it to Jaden Daniels, but I have no issue with Brock Bowers or Luther Burden. I really don't.
I look at it different than national media. The national media just wants to put the quarterback for the best team,
right?
And I think that's stupid because LSU would still be top 25. I think if Nussmeier was the quarterback, I think Georgia may still be undefeated if Beck wasn't the quarterback. So I'm not going to put Beck in there just because he's – now, has he been playing great? Absolutely. But I don't think he is the heart and soul of that team, I think he's a pivotal piece of it, But I don't know. I want to put a guy – I'm taking a guy out that's just a game changer, know?
All right, how about who would you give today? Again, you're not projecting second half or end of the season. Today – you got to give the SEC Coach of the Year award. Who would you give that bad boy to?
Coach of the Year. I'm looking at the helmets. Trying to think here. Who deserves this award? Jim Buck. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I was about to shut this podcast down.
Man.
You want to hear mine first?
Yeah, you go ahead because I need to think about this.
Now, I had one. Stephen and I talked about this, and Mike Griffith had me on the Dog Nation show the other day, and I said Eli Drinkwitz because, hot seat.
Right.
He's, I realized they lost a game, but they were underdog and all that. But I've changed my mind, Shane. He's a fine candidate.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to the GOAT, Nick Saban. Because I think that team, for all the shit I've talked, they have exceeded expectation. I mean, this looks like a completely different team than from the South Florida game when there was talk that they were quitting on him and they didn't know, which quarterback to play and all this, that, and the other. So right now, I'm giving it to Nick Saban. Mike was like, "You ain't giving it to Kirby Smart?" I'm like, no, I mean I don't know. He may be at the end of the year, but no,
I'll make an argument here with you, and the only reason I would take it from the GOAT is because when you look at Kirby Smart, the South Carolina game, going in at halftime down, the sky's falling, comes out, says, "Hey, simple recipe here. We're going to get 6 possessions. We got to score on all of them or whatever."
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what he did. He was able to corral that team, make adjustments, or at least have staff members that were able to. That's one of the things that I love. So when I look at a good or a great coach, forget the recruiting, forget all that stuff. It's in-game management. And I've never scratched my head after a Georgia game saying, "What the was he doing?" You don't do that with Kirby. He's cool, calm, collective. So
So you're giving it to Kirby?
I'm giving it to Kirby. Nothing against Nick Saban. Again, he's starting to get.
Shane's buttering up him so they stop coming after him.
I'm all on that wagon right now, man. Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, I mean that's a fine one, but I think my point is just like, I mean maybe after Kentucky we have that conversation, but beating UAB and South Carolina at home and this, that, I mean, they're scared. Ball State, you know what I mean? I ain't giving him Coach of the Year for that.
Yeah, but you could easily say it was close. South Florida, they lost to Texas. It's like a good coach doesn't shit the bed early in the season. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying Nick Saban's a bad coach. The reason I love it is because I am seeing kind of, say what you want, half-season adjustments. I'm seeing something getting fixed. It's not like, you watch an LSU team and they every week you're like, well, did they figure the defense out? No, they didn't figure the defense out. You watch A&M, you're like, well, maybe Jimbo figured out how to win these big games. No, Jimbo didn't, but Alabama has. If I kept seeing the same product over and over again, then I would say, this ain't his year.
Right.
Decaying dynasty, I'm jumping on. But I'm if I'm picking two, it's Kirby, and then real close, it's Nick Saban.
All right, how about the biggest surprise, like a good surprise? Just
good surprise.
Be positive. Can be anything. Can be a team. Can be a player. Can be a moment. Could be a result. Anything that comes to mind for Cousin Shane, the biggest good surprise in the SEC. And again, I'm willing to go first.
You go first.
And how about this, Shane? I know you're going to like this one. Brady Cook becoming a solid. I mean, hell, you could argue he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. Yeah. And a month ago, they wanted his ass benched.
I did too.
He's a Missouri kid.
Yeah.
There was so much doubt. They got a much more touted, I guess you'd say, backup.
Yeah.
World against him. Struggled at times last year. So I think that's my biggest pleasant surprise is Brady Cook emerging as a real weapon for the Missouri Tigers.
That's tough to argue. Maybe I shouldn't let you go first because now I feel like that's the one I need to go with. But I'm going to say pleasant surprise. There's a couple. And I know the record doesn't show it. But you and I both shit all over Spencer Rattler in the offseason. And I'm telling you, brother, if the guy had some damn offensive line and maybe one more weapon like Juice out there, Lord knows what would happen. As far as just one offseason of progression, I'm looking at quarterbacks. I like the Cook. I like the Rattler too, because And on that note, I guess we're just going to continue as Xavier Legette. You know, now obviously didn't have a good week this week against the Tennessee Vols, or this last week, but for the first half of the season has been an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I expect that relationship to blossom here moving forward, but that's a name nobody was talking about before the season. So
no, that's a great
South
one.
Carolina, Mizzou. Yeah, I like those. Those are really good ones.
Now, same kind of question though. Biggest disappointment in the SEC up to this point. And buddy, do I got a good one, but I'll let you go first if you want, or I'll go.
No, go, because I want to see which one not to do. Because I keep looking at these helmets because I'm like, damn it, I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you. You know,
It's for me. It's got to be LSU defense.
LSU defense. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, if they were just serviceable,
yeah,
they may have lived up to my big mouth and been an SEC and a national championship contender. And they still could be. There's a very outside shot. They have to run the table. But I don't think they get there because the defense has just been so disappointing.
yeah. I'm with. Well, let's say in the same conference or division there, I'll go Arkansas offense. You know, I mean, again, you and I were both very high on KJ Jefferson.
Yeah.
We were both very high on Rocket Sanders. We knew that Sam Pittman was going to get this offensive line figured out, and we knew that there were going to be a couple of pieces of some weapons emerge on the outside there. We needed the defense to be serviceable, and something we've been saying the last few weeks is the defense has, but the offense hasn't been able to put points on the board because of it. So I'm just going to say that whole offense.
Yeah.
You know, you even sold me, Mike. I'm sure you threw out some of them numbers at me, and I just like, yeah, Danny, he knows his great, you know. And I was just like, yeah, I'm back in, you know. And so I put them back on this pedestal. But once they're on that pedestal, even though they've been very productive, they're not at the bottom when you're looking at your number stats there earlier you gave us. But the stars for me, it's like I was expecting top 3, top 4 easy, and
Right.
we're nowhere near that.
All right, how about this one? This will throw you for a loop. So I got creative over here, Shane.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time today on my hands. I know you were busy.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't. SEC team with a winning conference record.
Yeah.
And I have them all listed out, so I'll get to them in just a second. Team that has a winning record in conference play that is most likely to finish the season with a losing SEC record. So again, we'll go through these real quick. There's only 2 that are undefeated.
Yeah.
Alabama and Georgia. Probably not going to be them.
No, won't be them. They'll be good.
LSU's 3-1.
I think they'll be good.
Kentucky's 2-1. Florida's 2-1. Ole Miss 2-1, and Texas A&M 2-1. So basically, it sounds like where you're leaning: Kentucky, Florida, Ole Miss, A&M. They're all 2-1. Which one is most likely to finish with a losing record? And again, I'm just talking in SEC play. So I mean, you could go, 3-5 in SEC and still finish 7-5. So you finish with a winning record, but just not in conference play. Which of those 4 most likely to finish with a losing SEC record? And again, Kentucky, Florida, Ole Miss, or A&M.
And I'm usually wrong about this kind of stuff, but I'm thinking Florida Gators. I'm thinking. I mean, you've already hit the 2 of the easiest ones with Tennessee and Vanderbilt. So, and I'm not saying Tennessee's easy, but you've got our number. There's
Right.
no way arguing that in the swamp. God, 13 miles still haunts me. But I'm just thinking, moving forward, the path is not easier. It's tougher. So that's kind of the one I'm leaning more toward right there. What about
And
you?
it may be decided this weekend against South Carolina.
This is it. But it's funny you say that because I think this is the decision. Because then there's the other one that's floating out there is the Arkansas one. Because I do think that you have an opportunity to win that one as well. And I'm not saying that Florida is most likely to finish with a losing record, but the path ain't easy. And
Right.
and if they hit it at the wrong time, then they're going to be in trouble.
Why do you hate them Gators, Shane? Is it because that walk?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't hate them. It's Billy, man. I can't. I tried. Even after the ball game, I was like, man, this is, I see it. I get the vision, you know? And then you get destroyed up there, Lexington. I'm like, fire his ass, you know? I was like, oh, so that's me, is I just don't see this working.
Right.
And I may be wrong. And maybe when they get, you know, some of that 4 or 5 star talent showing up on campus again, it may be a different tune, but man, I can't get with it.
Well, I say all that to say this, Shane. I picked Florida too.
Okay, all right. What's you got Kentucky's schedule?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like they got an easy path either. They and I'm not saying they're in jeopardy here, but
So they got Mizzou this week at home,
okay.
Tennessee at home, at Mississippi State, Bama at home, at South Carolina. Those,
Shit, man.
I mean, they could lose a lot of those.
Yeah.
They could win a lot of those.
I'm worried about that one because there's some 50-50 games in there.
Right.
There's some surefire losses I have, in my opinion, right now. And that may change.
As opposed to Florida, who's got at South Carolina,
yeah.
Georgia and Jacksonville, Arkansas at home, at LSU, at Mizzou.
No, I'm going Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brutal. All right. Same question, though. It's a little bit easier, I think.
Do they get a bowl game?
Florida?
Yeah. Right now, if you had to put the mortgage on it, Florida hit 6.
No.
Damn, you hate the Florida. You didn't even walk 13 miles. You did walk some of it, though.
I honestly, I think
Yeah.
I think we find out this weekend.
Yeah. I got you.
For maybe both of them, too.
Well, that's the thing. Like I told you earlier in the show, I'm torn. I don't know how good or bad
Right.
Florida the Gators are.
And I could see them beating South Carolina.
Exactly. If they do in Columbia, that would be a monumental. I know Florida fans don't maybe think of it as a monumental one, but it's huge. It's huge for this locker room. It's huge for the fans, and it's huge for that momentum because the schedule is so damn tough.
And I thought it was a night game. I apologize. I think I said that earlier. That is a 3:30 kick. That's not a huge difference, but it's Williams-Brice at night is a
you don't wanna
dangerous,
be there at
dangerous.
night. Yeah.
So fourth quarter might be night, but
Yeah.
and Billy likes them
Hopefully
close
it'll be
games.
over. Yeah.
All right, similar question though. SEC team that has a losing record
Okay.
right now, most likely to finish with a winning record. And here are the teams with a losing record in conference play. And unfortunately, there's too many here, Shane. Arkansas, 0-3.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, 0-3. Vanderbilt, 0-3. So basically, it's very unlikely because those three will have to win out.
Go ahead and remove them off the list.
Auburn, 0-2. And then South Carolina, 1-2.
What's South Carolina's schedule?
It's a lot prettier than the first half, I'll tell you that. So we got South Carolina. We're hosting Florida.
Yeah.
At Mizzou. Ain't gonna be easy. At A&M. Vanderbilt at home. Kentucky at home.
Yeah, I like South Carolina.
Yeah, I had to go that one too. Because who knows? I mean, A&M, if they lose to Tennessee, which is not a guarantee by any means, I think the wheels could come off at A&M. You know? I really do.
How many times have we said them? How many wheels have they got down there, Mike? You know what I'm saying? Is there a game? Because I hate saying this about Texas A&M, and we ain't even talking about them, but I want to talk about them just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you pull their schedule up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Jimbo, seats warmed up this weekend, I would imagine. Maybe not hot. It's lukewarm right now.
Yeah, I would just say I don't think he's on a hot seat, even though I would have already fired him.
Yeah.
I'm on a different class, I guess,
Yeah.
but it's a massively blown opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you went from controlling the West to you need Bama to lose multiple games,
Right.
and you got win out to
I
have
get
a
it.
prayer. I think they screwed up royally.
Yeah.
but they love them down there. So
Yeah.
they're happy. So that's more power to them. But
Well, I saw that interesting clip you sent me earlier. I don't even know if you sent it to me. Maybe you just retweeted and I saw it. But they were talking about Texas A&M has gone a year and a half
Yeah.
without a win
Yep.
on the road.
and Tennessee's won 12 in a row at home.
Right, yeah. So it's like, ooh, if they drop this one, now we on a hot seat. And I'm not saying drop because some people are.
I don't think so because they
Yeah.
love them down there. And they'll say, well, Tennessee's one hell of a team. You know what I mean?
God, could you imagine?
Now, here's where the seat gets hot, Shane.
Some nice
At
people.
Tennessee,
Yeah,
not there, but South Carolina at home.
yeah.
Can't be losing to South Carolina. You only lost to South Carolina one time
Right.
ever as an SEC opponent. That was last year. You got to correct that. So that's when it will start heating up, I think. At Ole Miss.
Right.
Well, that's a tricky
Right.
game,
That's a
and they
tough
beat
one.
you every year.
Yeah.
So fans are wanting that one. But, I mean, they'll fire him, I think, if they lose to Mississippi State at home.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
next one. And then at
But if they win
LSU.
that one, and then you got LSU, which is just not easy, but they drop. Let's say they drop two of those.
I think he's
Still-
fine,
Yeah.
which he shouldn't be, but he will be.
The standards down there. You know? I should have dated in College Station. You know, if I knew the standards were that low. You know.
All right, final thing I wanted on those, Shane. There's two teams right now
Yeah.
that are 500 in the SEC. Mizzou and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They're both 1-1.
Yes.
You have to go one or the other. Which one more likely to have which one will have the better conference record? Mizzou or Tennessee as of today? Who you going with?
Mizzou.
Yeah, I would go
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah. I just
Now that changes drastically if Tennessee.
beats Mizzou.
Well,
know?
that one, but I was thinking A&M
Yeah.
too. You know, if they get some momentum.
Well, it's like you said, Tennessee's got A&M, they've got Mizzou, they've got Alabama, they got Georgia, they've got some
Kentucky
tough
at
games.
Kentucky,
Kentu-
at
Kentucky,
Mizzou, at
Can't just-
Alabama.
you know. And then what does Mizzou have? What's their?
They got
what's their-
Kentucky this week
Yeah.
on the road, which that ain't gonna be easy. South Carolina at home,
Yeah,
at Georgia, Tennessee at home, Florida at home, at Arkansas.
yeah. Mizzou, give me Mizzou.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, and then this is what we did. This is the part I actually. Speaking of the mountaintop, Shane, all the listeners can get there if they go over to MyBookie, sign up for a new account over at mybookie.ag today, and put in that promo code SEC THATSEC over at MyBookie. They're willing to give you an instant 50% deposit match up to $1,000, so you can have $1,500 in your account today with that promo code SEC over at mybookie.ag today. In the show notes, there is a link. Click that link, sign up. It would really, really, really help us out. We don't ask for much. Come on, be throwing $50, $100, whatever you can spare over at MyBookie and fade our picks and reach that mountaintop like the rest of these SEC teams.
for 9. You know, they should be paying me for how bad these picks are.
Yep.
I still smell the mayonnaise. Get out there and put the promo code SEC and start making some money because Lord knows I ain't.
Yeah, and don't forget to head on over to the rogueshop.com, CBD, THC, Delta 9, Delta 8. They got you covered over at rogueshop.com. Promo code SEC will get you 10% off your entire order. Orders over $100, free shipping. They'll send it in a discreet package so you can have yourself a great time this weekend thanks to rogueshop.com. This is veteran-owned business, and this is 100% legal, so check them out. rogueshop.com, promo code SEC, 10% off your entire order, and again, free shipping over $100. And if you have any questions, call them. Go to the website, rogueshop.com. Give them a call. It would be my buddy Richard. It's a small business. He's going to be answering the phone, taking your questions. So again, rogueshop.com, promo code SEC. Told you to have in your mind. Midseason grades. We've
Yeah.
done this before. Offense,
I haven't even thought about it.
defense, I figured. Coaching, a letter grade for offense, defense, and coaching for all 14 SEC teams. So
do it.
let's go alphabetical, Shane. Alabama offense. What you giving them?
D+.
D plus?
Yeah.
God. I thought I was being kind, Shane. I gave him a B minus.
Offense?
Yeah, probably. That's probably.
I mean, I only gave him the plus because of last week. That's
I may be
one
going
week
down there
that-
in a couple. I'm trying not to get killed here. You know?
Yeah, I just think now again they put 2 or 3 more games like they did last Saturday.
Right.
Then I'm moving them up right now. But I'm not going to skew the whole thing because of
Right.
this one. Yeah, or the MT. I mean, that's what they're talking about. The MTSU, how great that game was.
Only 2 games they've scored over 30 points.
If Alabama had an offense, they'd be undefeated. They would be the threat. I love their
Yeah.
defense, but they just now starting to get that offense figured out. And we're talking
Mm-hmm.
mid. I mean, we're halfway through the season here.
So what grade for defense?
Oh, I would say A plus, man.
I gave him an A.
Yeah,
Just because Texas kind of took it to him, I thought a little bit.
but yeah, I get that. But they didn't make it easy for him either. That
Right.
offense didn't either. And I really do think that as much as we're talking about the offense improvement, I really think the defense has come quite along too. So
Yeah.
I'm really high on Crimson Tide here.
How about coaching?
Because are you just doing head coaches or all coaches?
Just kind of all of it.
Okay, I would go B plus.
Yeah, that's what I said too. And that's with me saying I'd give Nick Saban Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
but they royally screwed up
Yeah,
South Florida
yeah.
game. You know, they did all that quarterback nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Miss
that's
Terry's
fair.
having to come down there and crack the whip, you know?
All right, how about Arkansas offense?
Oh, awful. D minus.
Yeah, that's exactly what I gave him. D minus. I flirted with an F there.
Yeah.
Defense for Arkansas.
Defense, a little better, but we're not, telling our grandkids about this one. I would say B minus.
I gave him a B plus, but I
Okay.
think that's because they're exceeding expectations.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of grading them on a curve.
A little bit
Maybe
okay.
that's not
Yeah.
fair, but
I needed that teacher growing up. Yeah.
how about coaching for Arkansas?
Oh man, Sam, I'm sorry, man, but I'm gonna say C minus.
I gave him C
Yeah.
plus,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Man, I'm tough.
you are.
I'm a tough parent, So I got them, you raise them kids, or you just.
All right, how about Auburn offense? What you giving them?
Oh man, ooh, I almost said F, but I'm going to F plus. No. Give me D minus. D minus.
Okay,
D minus.
I don't know. I guess because they did what they did against Georgia and no one else has done it. Maybe I'm just skewed by that, but I'm giving a C minus.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little tough on them.
But they have been awful.
And honestly, it's not fair because players too, personnel.
Right.
It should be a little skewed for that. So can I bring that up?
Yeah.
Give me D plus. I still think they're horrible. I
Right.
do. But I do. They're going to find ways to win some games, some close games. But it's just tough watch.
Right. How about Auburn defense?
Oh, I like their defense now. Give me A minus.
Oh, I gave them
Yeah.
a B, but yeah, I got no problems with that.
I mean, think about what they did in College Station against Texas A&M, what they did against Georgia.
Yeah.
Very.
Cal.
And
they
look
won
what
them the Cal game.
seriously, and look what some of these teams did not playing Auburn. So a lot of that, all that had to do with the defense. So I'm very high on them.
And then coaching for Auburn.
Again, I think it's for what they're working with. I would go B.
That's what I gave them.
Yeah.
A B. I think that's fair. How about Florida offense?
I am not a fan of Florida offense right now, just because of inconsistencies. So because of that, what they were able to do with Mertz and everything, I just the fact that everybody shit on him and now he's a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
I would go B minus.
No, that's exactly what I gave them, and for the same reasons. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing sometimes with running.
Yeah.
Maybe the running backs are banged up or something, but they
Well, Etienne was out,
right.
and
but I don't think he was hurt against Utah. and they
No,
just abandoned
yeah,
it for
yeah.
some damn reason. They obviously got back to that Tennessee. I think I'm just kind of impressed. Well, we'll get to the coaching here in a minute, but I'm kind of impressed by their bounce back ability.
Yeah, yeah.
But also at the same time, you say, well, why the hell aren't they prepared in these other
Yeah.
games? How about the Florida defense?
Defense actually a little better. I would say, oh man, C plus,
Ooh, I give them B plus.
B plus. Okay, well, again, I just it's the Kentucky game for me.
Yeah.
You know, that one was just like a head scratcher because that was in the teeth of what I thought they were really good at. Tennessee just talked about how good they are stat wise against running. They couldn't do shit against Florida, but then you got a guy up here almost breaking an NCAA record on you. So I had to skew the numbers a little bit.
How about Florida coaching?
This is what drives me nuts. If we're at home, B plus, but if we're away, it's like C minus. So
Yeah.
I'm going to meet kind of in the middle and go C.
I give them a B.
B.
Billy Ball.
So tough on the coaches. I expect more. That's what it is. I just got higher expectations for the Florida Gators.
How about Georgia offense?
A minus.
Ooh, I gave them a B plus because they've. I don't know. The running game has been suspect. The suspect's kind of strong, but they've had a lot of guys banged up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
Didn't
But
it change?
slow starts till last week.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I gave him a B plus.
If you saw one more game like you saw Saturday against Kentucky,
A.
yeah. Okay, so you're right there.
How about defense?
Defense? I would give an A.
Oh yeah, A. How about coaching?
A plus.
Ooh, I went just regular A.
Yeah.
They've got some work to do down
It's
there.
like, man, nobody gets a 99, you know?
How about Kentucky offense?
Kentucky offense. You know, I really love what Cohen's doing. I think he's just, even during that Georgia game, he kept me on my toes. I didn't know which route they were going to go. It's just they could not get it done. So I'm going to go B, just B right now.
I gave him a B minus.
B minus. Okay.
But it was pretty interesting. I watched. There's a show on SEC Network. It's called SEC Inside, where they go into the coaching and there was one on Kentucky. I think it's the most recent one, and a lot of it's Cohen talking with the quarterbacks and the offense, and that was, I don't know, I that kind of really struck me to kind of what you're saying, like obviously him game planning, but also his coaching ability and I don't know,
it was there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching the Georgia game, and if you rewatch it and like actually pay attention to just the play calling in general, it was artwork, you know, and they were just that they had the penalties, they had some drops, they had some. I would tell you right now, if you took Kentucky's drops and cut that in half, and you took Leary's incompletions and you brought that up by half, we're talking an A minus offense, you know, that can compete with teams like Georgia. It's just, it's there. The ingredients are there. They just haven't quite put it all together yet.
Yep. How about Kentucky defense?
Defense, I would go a little higher. I would say B plus.
I gave him an A.
Okay, well, good for you. Maybe you're right. Can I change mine?
You can.
A
I
minus.
will allow A minus.
A
Yeah.
minus. I think I let Georgia just.
I think
carry
Georgia
too
just
much
came
weight.
prepared
Yeah.
and just out executed them.
Well, and if you slow down some of Beck's throws and completions, it's like tiny. I mean,
Did you see that Cole Kublik? He tweeted out Carson Beck's first touchdown. You know, the one where it's to Rosemy St. Jack, and it was kind of the game breaker. Like, if you look at from Beck's angle, like, I mean, that was like flawless execution on Beck and the receiver. But it was just like, it looked like, oh, Kentucky getting outclassed. But it's like, you know, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have made that play every time. You know what I mean? Like, it was that good. So I don't put that on Kentucky's defense.
And up to this point, they've been really, really good.
Yeah.
So
How about coaching for Kentucky?
Well, if you paid him more, I would. Just kidding. because I can't talk about Cohen and not say I think they've got two of the best, if not the best, coordinators in the business. I love Stoops, and I love his just demeanor, him getting out there and bullshitting and stuff. So, but everything together, I would say A minus. No, go with A. I think this is I keep wanting to put too much weight on that Georgia game.
Yeah.
The coaching didn't drop the ball. The coaching didn't cause the penalties. This is just stupid stuff the players got to clean up. But, yeah, I'm going to go A on coaching.
When you say all that, Shane, I gave him a B.
Oh, man.
Because they got to clean up the penalties.
Yeah.
They got to clean up the nonsense. And they've been inconsistent. And I put that on coaching.
How do you saw them. You saw some of these penalties against Georgia.
Right.
And
I mean, that was like nonsense shit. But this has been happening not to that degree, but there's been penalties.
But you could also
often
say that's kind of the coach's fault, getting them too amped up before the game. You know what I'm saying? Like we've all had that coach that just comes in. You're just like, man, you could run through a brick wall, and you come out and you want to run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
But sometimes you take that wall a little too serious. So that's me. I don't fault all those penalties on the coaches. And like I said, the plays are there. It's just the execution, and maybe that's more the coaching, during the off season.
Right. All right. How about LSU offense?
LSU offense, A+.
Yep, that's exactly what I gave him. Now the defense,
F.
yeah, that's what I gave him too.
F. Do we do F minuses? I don't even know if that's a thing. Yeah.
How about coaching for LSU?
That defense has really. I'll say B.
I gave him C minus
Yeah.
because I'm not impressed. Hiring 80-year-old coaches to fix us, and
Well, that's where we're at. I mean, we saw the defense,
and even Brian Kelly come out. Remember in the opener, he's like, "That was on me. We thought we were Georgia Bulldogs."
Isn't there some shady defensive coordinator out there that nobody wants to hire because he did? It just seems like now's a good time to make that phone call.
Yeah.
One of those GAs that Bama used to keep around.
All right, how about Ole Miss offense?
Or analyst, I'm sorry. Ole Miss offense, they're right there too, man. I would say I'd give them an A+.
Really?
A. Let's do A.
I gave him a B because they couldn't run the ball for half the year.
But I don't know if that's more Junkins or
I think it was the offensive line.
It could be, but they fixed it. I mean, here lately they've been very. You give them 10 seconds, they're going to find a way. You ever played Madden? And have you played Madden in a while? I don't know if you played it lately, but it seems like every time you play Madden, you don't want to score too quick because it doesn't matter. If you leave 15 seconds on the clock, they're going to find a way to get down there and score again. It's like your defense won't work. That's what I think about Ole Miss. It's like you can't leave time on the clock or they're going to come back and bite you. So right now that offense is humming, and I'm going to stick with A+.
How about the defense for Ole Miss?
Well, not bad. I'd say B-.
I give them a B+. And this is another one where probably grading them on a curve because they're not one of the better defenses in the conference. But last year they were awful, and these new changes with the new coordinator and some new talent, I feel like they have responded well. So give me a B+. They have exceeded my expectations.
It's just so funny watching them because, Lane it's like NFL. It changes every year. You don't know if it's going to be it's not just one individual. It's not the same recipe. I mean, he goes from that prolific rushing attack last year. Then you go the year before, it's just dynamic throwing and
right.
It's amazing what he's able to get out of all these players. And that's why I'm not penalizing the fact. But now that they're getting going, it's really opened up this passing attack. So I just think right now at this moment, maybe not through the whole half the season, which I probably should be grading the entire, but I think right now is why I'm so high on their offense.
How about coaching? What'd you give Ole Miss?
A-.
I'd give him an A if not for all the trolling Bama week.
Yeah,
I think it cost his team there. How about Mississippi State offense?
What was the lowest grade again? F. I'm gonna give him another one.
Yeah, that's what I gave him. How about the defense for Mississippi State?
Not much better. D plus.
I gave him a D.
Yeah.
And then coaching.
I'm sorry, man. You think I hate you or something, but I think that's the worst part. But I can't give another F. That's just embarrassing. So D minus.
And there's talk, Shane. There is talk. I have no information on this, but I've seen it. That they could get rid of him already. They're apparently, I don't know if that's true. There was just speculation that the buyout's really low and all this, but that's never good when we're 5 games in and we're already talking buyout. You know,
the bad thing is Arnett is a fantastic defensive mind.
Yeah,
and I think because he's trying to handle all of this and show everybody that he can be a head coach in the SEC, I think it's really taken away from that defense. But if someone came in tomorrow and said, hey, you no longer touch anything on this roster except the defense, that defense would improve, I think, drastically overnight. I think it would go from a whatever ranking I have to maybe a B minus, because he's that good at coaching. But I think he's just wearing too many hats right now, and it's costing him everywhere. You're either really good at something, or you're not good at, not good at everything. Well, so it's
maybe kind of like a Will Muschamp, who struggled to be the head coach, but clearly has had a lot of success as a defensive coordinator.
No. That's what I hate, and I just think they're getting thrown into this. It's tough. Not everybody can do it, because I think of the best coaches out there, they're just CEOs, man. You know what I'm saying? The best coaches aren't, their job is to get people in place and not have to worry about them and oversee the entire, outfit. And he's not that, All
right, Shane, how about Missouri offense?
Missouri offense, I would give an A.
Yeah, that's exactly what I gave him too.
Yeah.
Love the
close
hire.
to an A plus.
Kirby Moore,
Yeah.
He's been killing it. How about the defense?
A little disappointed with these guys.
Yeah.
I still think they're very good, but I'm going to give them a C plus right now. B minus. Sorry, I'm trying. That's like my own kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now you're a kid, C plus, but my kid, B minus.
I give a C minus.
Yeah, okay.
because we hyped them up too much.
Maybe that's the problem. I had them too high.
What about the coaching for Missouri?
I like the coaching. I think A minus.
I was there with you, Shane, till people forget. Because we won. End of game decision making.
Shit.
Kansas State.
Yeah.
Pushed us back 5 yards. Had to make a record-setting field goal. He made it, so no one remembers it, and it's all good. But he missed. Eli, they may have fired him.
I'm going to keep mine the same. But
I didn't like the end of that LSU game either, with the going forward on 4th and 32, whatever. I mean, that was stupid. I don't know. He's got some work to do on managing these big games, I feel like. But that's a small critique for a 5-1 team,
Yeah, yeah.
All right, how about South Carolina offense?
Offense, I would say, like I said, I think Spencer's fantastic, but everything else around him is not. So I would say B minus.
That's exactly what I gave him for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because he's been so good that he's elevated them. Not for Spencer.
Dude,
they'd be in trouble.
If Spencer wasn't there, they'd be in bad shape right now.
Well, speaking of bad shape, how about their defense?
I'm going to go C minus.
I gave him D minus.
D minus, that bad? Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, they're not slowing down many people.
Yeah, but look who they played. You don't think that skewed a little bit?
I just call it like I see it, bro.
Yeah, okay.
How about the coaching for South Carolina?
Coaching, I'd give a B minus.
See, I gave him a B.
Yeah.
Because the thing with South Carolina, which is unfortunate, where they're at,
Yeah.
they've got some good players, but some of their better players have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And that ain't on the coaches. But they're just, you lose a Juice Wells, you lose Jalen Nichols, your left tackle. They just don't have anybody to make that up.
I think that's kind of why I'm higher on the coaching here, just because of what they've been able to piece together
Yeah,
here.
I give them a higher grade because
Yeah.
I'm higher.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. Brought to you by Rogue, and if you're not, but also I like the not just the depth chart, but there's some that offensive coordinator. What's his name?
Dow Loggins.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, some great. I mean, he's just as good as, I wouldn't say as Cohen, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
And I like he's playing toward Spencer's trick. There's just sometimes like we can't do anything to alleviate so there's still got to be a knock on that.
How about Tennessee offense?
I would say, me personally, I'm a little tougher on these guys, but I would say B.
I gave
now.
B minus.
B minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you expect more, and I know it's crazy, but after last season, I was anticipating. How do you come out and do all these little segments about how far you can throw, and then we don't throw it far? It's like, that's disheartening, And
If I would have told you, Shane, in the preseason, Tennessee at the midway point has got the number 3 defensive scoring efficiency in the SEC. They got the number 1 rushing attack.
Yeah.
You'd probably be saying, by God, we're undefeated, brother.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
So,
and maybe it's more the coaching, but I feel like we're missing a little something on that side of the ball, and it's gonna hurt us when, we got a gauntlet. Tennessee's got a gauntlet coming, and you can't do that against Mizzou. You can't throw these because somebody's going to pick it and run to the house, and so I'm kind of interested to see the second half of this season for Tennessee Vols.
and I think, and again, I'm not. People think I hate. Even Tennessee fans think I hate them now. I hate everybody apparently, but I think this is a program, Shane, that is, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but trying to figure out how to remain elite.
Yeah,
And I think that's hard as
Yeah.
hell.
it is.
Unless you're, and even I think it's hard for Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah,
But they got incredible talent. But so does LSU, and they can't do it. So does A&M.
Yeah.
They can't do it. Texas, on and on and on. It's very, very difficult to do, and only Kirby and Nick Saban have really done it for a long period.
yeah.
So I think they're kind of struggling with that. If honestly,
That's good.
expectations and all that. How about Tennessee defense? though? What's the grade there?
Tennessee defense, I'm very impressed. I would say B plus. Yeah.
Exactly what I gave him. Yeah. Well, how about the coaching?
B plus. Yeah.
I went B minus,
Okay. Yeah.
just for the things I said. In
yeah.
Florida game. How about A&M offense?
A&M offense, I would go. I think the offense is good. Offensive line played like shit, but
Yeah.
I'm again. This isn't just one game. This is the totality of the season so far. So I'm going to go A minus.
I gave B.
Yeah, I think this is a really good offense. I think Bobby Petrino was a hell of a hire.
Yeah.
And
2 second halves in a row, though, not scored a touchdown. That
Yeah,
kind of caught me off guard.
that made me more coaching at the end there. We'll get to that part.
How about defense?
Defense, again, ups and downs, but I'll go B plus.
Elite front,
Yeah,
rough secondary.
Rough
So
secondary.
I'm splitting the difference. B.
B. Okay.
How about coaching?
I can't wait to hear what you say, but I do think that it's not just one coach, even though there is a ringleader. I'm still thinking that there's some good hires on this staff. So give me C plus right now.
You are the good grader, Shane, because I'm giving that clown a C. C for clown, Shane. Come on now. I'll give you the one shining grace I think is Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
Because he's come in and made a real impact. But Durkin, Jimbo,
No.
get the hell out of here. I think they should be fired.
If Jimbo, we should have. If Texas A&M figures a way to win out and win an SEC championship, you going to get a tattoo of Jimbo on you somewhere?
That'd be funny. That'd be funny. If they went out?
Yeah.
Wait, and you said, and win the SEC?
And win the SEC
Oh, fuck.
championship.
Yeah, I'll do tattoo then. Yeah. And I don't even have any tattoos. But that's the safest bet in the world, Shane.
It don't have to be a big one. It could be a tiny little Jimbo. It could be on your big toe for all I care. But you got to get, okay.
That's the safest bet in the world,
Oh,
brother.
my
I don't,
God.
they may not win another
I've never
conference
wanted
game, you know?
something to happen so bad in my life now. I think we all just became Aggie fans.
All right, how about the last team here, Shane? Vanderbilt offense.
Vanderbilt offense, I'm not C minus.
D. I gave him a D.
I mean, with the banged up quarterbacks and okay, all right. I mean, they're still putting points up. That's not the problem. It's the defense, in my opinion, which I think the defense should be a D minus.
I gave him C minus. But that's fair. Yeah, they're getting.
I mean, they're putting points up.
I just respect their grades. You know what I mean? I
Yes,
can't.
yeah,
How about coaching?
I'm a little down on Lee this year.
Yeah.
I'll give him a C minus.
It's exactly what I gave him, Shane.
Yeah.
And that's a failing grade at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
C
You
minus
get
is
kicked out of, you get kicked out of Vandy for C minus.
All right, so hey, we made our first ever tattoo bet.
Yeah.
Went a little long here on this mid-season grading episode. Anything, Shane, before we hop off the line?
Well, yeah, just again, you got to remember when you're thinking of these grades are different these days. You know, when I was going to school,
Yeah.
you know, an A was like a 95 to 100, and apparently that don't even matter anymore. Like they're just giving these kids. So then we may have some younger listeners, and they're like, "Oh my God, it gave them a B." Well, a B for me is like anything as 85 to 94. You know, so still really good. You know, their B's may be like 75. You know, I don't know. These kids, they're giving them, you know, they're just graduating them, you know, just getting them out of there. So
maybe that's the grading system they got in College Station right now. Maybe that's why Jimbo still has a job.
I think maybe that's why mine was a little higher because I'm older than you. And maybe mine, I just have, my principal, my teachers, man, they were on our ass. There was no curve. You know, when they say grading on a curve, I never saw anything like that growing up. You know, now everything's a curve. They just want them to graduate. They're doing it from home. You know what I'm saying? Like my kid told me the other day, like she's like, "Hey, two of my friends aren't going to school anymore. They're doing it from home." I was like, yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we just let you sleep in, you know, hang out, play with your friends, do Fortnite, whatever you want to do. And then later on, maybe we can give you the answers to this test that I don't want to teach you. You know, it's like, that ain't going to work, man. Your guys is going to school. Golly. That's, you know what grinds my gears?
I didn't mean to set you off down that path, brother. But I appreciate you as always. And next episode, we'll get to these games this weekend. We'll preview all the action before we make our predictions, obviously, on Thursday. But I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. And I appreciate you, buddy. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols.